Chapter 1 Ajay Bhatt. What do you do when you face a problem? Do you ask others what to do, or do you find your own ways to solve it? Read about somebody who thought of a brilliant idea to solve a problem. Albert Einstein said, things should be made as simple as possible in our daily life. There are many devices we can use to make our work simpler. Technology helps us to do our work within a shorter time and with less effort. While trying to make things simpler, scientists sometimes manage to invent technology that changes the way we work, play and live, play and live. Therefore, technology can be thought of as the processor of making things simpler. Have you ever used a keyboard or a mouse? How about a pen drive or a computer game console? If you have, then you have used a USB. A USB or a universal serial bus is the set of cables and connectors used to attach other devices to a computer. It was invented only in the 1990s. Before that, each time a new device was connected to the computer, the setting had to be matched in both devices. Now you can use a USB to directly plug any electronic device like your phone into your computer in a matter of seconds. This will allow you to transfer files like music or pictures from one device to other. USBs are very commonly used in smartphones, digital cameras, ebook reading devices, etc. Do you know whose idea helped invent the USB? It was that of quiet and studious man called Ajay Bhatt, who studied who studied at Maharaja Syajirao University in Baroda in India and later worked for Intel Corporation USA. He recalls being a nerd when he was young. Now, because of his achievements, he is considered a rock star among his friends and fans. So, how did Ajay Bhatt come up with the fantastic idea of a USB when he worked on his personal computer PC? He found it annoying to have to connect his printer and modem. Each time he wanted to use them, he would have to adjust their setting to match the computer, and this took time. He wished there was a way to connect all the gadgets quickly and without much effort. He tried different ways of doing this and finally invented the USB. At first, his idea was laughed at by many. They thought it would never work, but Ajay did not give up. He had faith in what he had created. He advises used to never take no for an answer. Don't give up. If you have an idea, stick to it. The same people who once laughed at his idea now use it every day. His invention has helped millions of peoples of all ages and from different parts of the world to connect electronic devices in an easy manner. In 2009, Intel Corporation released a television commercial to showcase their achievements. That advertisement featured Ajay Bhatt, played by the actor Sunil Narkar. With the Ajay received global fame and recognition as the co-inventor of the USB. His popularity led to many television interviews and more fans even thought he has received many awards and much appreciation. He remains the quiet person that he was and continues his work as the chief client platform architect and Intel Corporation. Ajay Bhatt also worked closely with Intel India. He believes India has a lot of talent in the field of information technology. He visited many schools and colleges here, searching for new talent among the students. He says we have managed to hire some of the best talent from the leading universities in India. Because of this top talent, Intel is doing some amazing research and product development in India. Ajay is an inspiration to students of science and technology everywhere who look upon him as a determined and hardworking genius. Ajay's message to them is students in schools, colleges, and universities must believe in their dreams and follow them till they come true because it's not what you make, it's what we make possible. Chapter 2, Mr. Mortimer's Magic with Words. Mr. Mortimer was well known in his town for being the best speaker of English, but sometimes the less educated people didn't understand everything he was saying. His grandson Paul was visiting him after 5 years, and so Mr. Mortimer was eagerly waiting for the little fellow of 10 years to get home. On the way, Paul's mother said to him, "Now, Polly, listen to what I have to say. Your grandfather is a much respected man and doesn't like being asked too many questions. So if you don't understand something he says, just smile and nod and be polite. Okay, sonny boy." But mom, you always said to ask more about something I didn't understand. But well, if grandpa doesn't like being asked, I won't ask him. Wait, asked her. Mom's story means that whoever goes well prepared and stands first in line gets to make the first pick. So I wanted Janice to be first to reach the shop so that gets to choose the freshest and best fruits which I want for you. You see, the worms come out early in the morning when sun isn't that hot, and so the ground is soft. The bird that is looking out for worms around this time finds too easy to get hold of lot worms and so dig them out from the soft mud. So that's the story for the early bird. Paul was so excited now to learn more about how these stories were born and asked a lot more questions than his mother would have wanted him to. Grandpa was only too happy to answer them all. The next week, Janice was busy clearing the house when she heard little Paul say, "Janice, a place for everything and everything in its place." She looked amazed before saying, "Well, Paul, you have really learned a lot from Mr. Mortimer this past week, haven't you?" "Sure, as X or X," replied Paul. After another week of some exciting grandpa lessons, Paul Mortimer was now ready to get back to his hometown and back to school. He could not wait to use the amazing proverbs and idioms he learned with his grandpa, and more than that, he was waiting to learn about the word of a lot of other ones. All the best, Polly, and come back soon. It is a bit of pocket money. Remember, many a mickle makes a mickle. Smiled Grandpa. Yep, here, thanks, Grandpa. An elephant never forgets, replied Polly as he got into the car and drove off with his happy mother. Chapter 3, Hence the Hero of Harlem. The heroes and heroines you wrote about in the table just act in movies, but they don't really fall from buildings or fly all over the place, and they currently don't have superpowers. Child like yourself can be a real life hero. How? Read on to find out. How? Read on to find out. Many years ago in Holland, there was a place called Haarlem. It was one of the main and important cities of Holland. In Haarlem, there lived a sunny-haired boy named Hans Brinker, who was gentle and soft-spoken. His father was a sluice is pronounced sluicer, and his work was to open the sluice, large wooden gates that control the amount of water that shall flow through them and into the city in the mornings and close them at nights. The voters are angry because my sluices stop them from coming into Harlem, his father would always say. As you can imagine, This was a very important job because if too much water came into Harlem, everything would be washed away and everyone would drown. Holland is an amazing place since a lot of the land is lower than the level of the sea, and so the waters are stopped from flooding the land by using small and strong dikes, dams, and sluices, which were often under pressure of the water, especially at night since the high tide would make the waves bigger and stronger. You, the little children in Holland, knew that if any sluice or wall broke, they would all be killed by powerful water. One lovely afternoon, 80-year-old Hans was asked to carry some cakes and a blind man who lived far out in the country on the other side of the dike. The little fellow met his old friend, and after an hour, he bade him farewell and started on his homeward walk. On his way back, Hans noticed how the little autumn rains had sullen the waters, even while humming his childish song. He thought of his father's so strong old gates and thanked God for the strong wood and thought, if the dikes were ever broke, where would father and mother be? These pretty fields would all be covered with angry waters, and all of us would be underwater. And with these thoughts, Hans began to pick the pretty flowers that grew along his way home. Sometimes he stopped to throw some flower seeds in the air and watched it as it floated away. Sometimes he listened to the rabbit in a bush speeding through the grass, but he always smiled when he remembered the smiling face of his blind old friend. Suddenly, Hans stopped thinking some time. He heard scared him so much that he could not hear anything else. In the setting sun, just as he was getting ready to run to his home, which was far away still, he was terrified by the sound of trickling water. Where did it come from? He looked up and saw a small hole in the dike, through which a teeny stream of water was flowing. Any child in Holland would be horrified at the thought of a leak in the dike. The boy understood the danger had cleansed that little hole. If the water were allowed to trickle through, would soon be a large one, and a terrified blood flood would be the result, and Harlem would be soon destroyed. Quick as a flash of lightning, Hans saw his duty to Harlem. Throwing away his flowers, the boy climbed up the dike until he reached in the hole. His chubby little fingers were touched it, and the flowing stopped. Ah, he thought with a chuckle, the angry waters will stay back now. Harlem shall not be drowned while I am here. Wasn't this is a wonderful and brave act? Well, it isn't over. This was this was all very well at first, but the moon came up rapidly. The air became chilly and cold like a freezer. Our little hero hence began to tremble with cold and fear. Murder, murder. He shouted loudly. He screamed, come here, come here. But no one came. All had gone to sleep. Cold became worse, and now the tired little finger became blue and numb. In over an hour, the cold got into his hand and entire arm, and soon his whole body was filled with terrible pain. Shouted again, will no one come, murder? Alice's mother had already locked the doors and had decided to scold him the next morning for spending the night with blind Johnson. Without her permission, hungry and cold, Hans tried to whistle. Perhaps some night watchman might hear him and help him, but his teeth chattered so hard that it was impossible to even whistle. Finally, Hans turned to the sky and begged God for help. And at that time, Hans decided, I will stay here till morning but won't take my finger out from the dike. I will not let Harlem suffer. The midnight moon looked down upon the small, lonely boy sitting upon a stone halfway up the dike. His hair was bent, but he was not asleep for every now and then one little hand weakly rubbed the other arm that appeared as if joined to the dike, and often hands turned quickly at some sounds of animals running around, or then imagined sounds of his parents coming to take him away to his warm bed, along with high naughty brothers and sisters. If you draw, if you drew with a teeny finger, the angry waters would rush forth and never stop until they had swept over the town. No, he would hold it there till daylight if he lived. Hans was not very sure of living. He had no strength left to even pull out his finger, even if he wished to. At daybreak, a man thought he heard groans as he walked along on the top of the dike, bending his saw. Far down on the side, a child, almost fainting with pain. In the name of God, what are you doing there? He screamed. I am stopping the angry waters from destroying our Harlem, was the simple answer of our little hero. Tell my parents to come quickly, he said with a weak smile. Not only did his proud parents come, but the whole city of the Harlem thanks little Hans for saving the lives of thousands of sleeping people while risking his own life. Till today, the people of Harlem remember little Hans and his amazing bravery. Chapter 4 Uncle Thorger hangs a picture. Have you ever been in a situation where a small job is made to look more difficult than it actually is, and enjoy one such situation where the entire house gets involved in hanging a picture? Characters Uncle Thorger, Aunt Thorger, Maria, Will, Tom, Jim, Mert, and Kelly. The scene opens with Uncle and Aunt Thorger sitting at a table center stage, while Will and Tom are sitting on a sofa reading magazines. To the stage, Jim is sitting on the floor near the sofa working on some books. Martha and Girlie are sitting to the left of the stage and are playing cards. A servant enters with a wrapped packet. Aunt Forger receives it and unwraps it. Aunt Forger, happily the pictures come from the frame maker. What do you suppose we do with it? Uncle Forger, oh, you leave that to me. Don't you any of you worry yourselves about it. I will do all that in no time. And then he takes off his coat and begins to examine the frame in a very serious manner. Uncle P. Girlie, oh, would you run out for 6 pennies worth of nails? Girl leaves stage. Jim quickly led rush after Girlie and tell her to get the medium-sized ones. Will you? She didn't even ask me what size she would get. Uncle turns to Will and Tom, who were sitting on the sofa. Well, now you go and get me hammer. Will exit thought the left of the stage, and you two bring me the ruler, and I shall want to the stepdad and better have a kitchen chair to the reach to the spot. Regiment will return from the left of the stage. Will is the hammer paw, Uncle Pug, and could you are back, will you run around to Mr. Goggles and give him Paul's kind regards and tell him I hope his legs better, and will he lend me his spirit level to make sure the picture is fixed straight? Who lives through the right of the stage. Martha begins to move from her seat to leave stage. Uncle Porter, and don't you go anywhere, Martha, because shall want somebody to hold me the candle, and when girlie come back, she must go out again. For a bit of cord, Martha sits again, and Tommy come here. I shall want you to hand me up picture. Tom sure. All on stage look at each other as if they know that what is going to happen. Uncle lifts picture and drops it. It comes off the frame. He tries to save the glass, cuts his finger and runs around the room looking for his handkerchief. Uncle Podger, where is it? Thinking, where is my kerchief? It was in my coat. Was my coat? Well, don't just stand here, all of you. Go and get my coat. All run around, but no coat is found. They come back to the center stage. Uncle Podger crashing into a sofa. Doesn't anybody in the whole house know where my coat is? I never came across such a set of fools in all my life. Upon my word, I didn't. All of you, and you can't find a coat that I put down 5 minutes ago. Girlie and Will return. Uncle gets up in anger and finds that he has been sitting on his cot. Uncle Podger, oh, you can stop searching now. I have found it myself. Our a cat can find things faster than people. He makes a fuss while tying off his finger. Well, let's go. Let's get a new glass, some tools, and the set ladder, and the chair, and a candle too. It's almost dinner time. The whole family stands in a semicircle. The whole family stands in a semicircle, ready for the great challenge. Uncle Podger, there now the nail gone. Can't you do anything right? Martha and Girlie go down on their knees and look for it, while Uncle Podger stands on the chair and shows anger at being made to wait. Jim, here's the nail. Where is the hammer? Uncle Podger, where is the hammer? What did I do with the hammer? Great heavens, so many of you standing around there, and you don't know what I did with the hammer. Girl finds the hammer in Uncle Podger's back pocket and hands it over to him. Uncle Podger, now look what you all have done. I've lost a mark on the wall. Get up here and see how difficult it is to find a mark. Everyone takes their turn to get up on the chair beside him and see if the mark could be found. Uncle Podger, fools, get off now and let me take the measurements again. Uncle uses a bit of string this time, and at the last moment, when he was learning for our chair, he slips and falls on the piano. Some music is here when he's here, bangs on the keys of the piano. Uncle Podgar, muttering under his breath with everyone around him. All of you are good for nothing. I say just good for nothing. Finally, everyone takes their old positions, and Uncle Podgar gets up on the chair for another effort. Uncle Podgar, ouch! Will, ouch! Mart, what happened, Tom? Paul smashed his finger with the hammer. Oh, dear me. But why is Will screaming? Tom, the hammer fell on Willie's toe. Aunt Podgar rolling her eyes. The next time a nail has to be driven in the wall, I am going for a week my mother's place. Everyone laughs. Uncle Podgar, oh, you woman, make such a fuss over everything. I like doing a little job of his sort. Another tie at the second hit. The nail goes through the plaster and half the hammer goes into the wall. The third time two nails are fixed in a new place. Uncle Podgar, proudly done, Chim yelling loudly. It's just midnight and by the looks of it, the picture looks crooked and very shaky to me, Martha. The wall also needs to be repaired and painted in a dozen places. Uncle Podgar getting off the chair. Nonsense, you are lucky I am here because some people would call a carpenter to do a little job like that. Chapter 5, Wu and the Yellow Dragon. This is the story of Wu, a boy who became a great courtier in China because of his wisdom. This wisdom was given to him by the Yellow Storm Dragon. At 13, Wu was a silent, dreamy boy who had been brought up by his father Yin and his grandmother. His mother had died when Wu was very young. It was his habit to sit, think, and observe things. One day along the highway came a handsome youth riding a white horse and wearing yellow garments. For attendants accompanied, accompanied accompanied him, and one of them had an umbrella to shield the youth from the sun's bright rays. The youth stopped at Wu Cats and said, "Oh, I am weary. May I enter your father's house and rest while?" Wu bowed and said, "You are welcome." The handsome youth dismounted and sat in the garden while his servants attended to the horse. Yin chatted with his guest and invited him for a meal while Wu gazed at them silently. When the meal was over, the youth thanked Yin for his hospitality and walked across the garden. Wu noticed that before one of the servants passed through the gate, he turned the umbrella upside down and then moved on. When the youth had mounted his horse, he turned to Wu and gave him a piece of armor from the horse's back and said, "Thank you, Wu. Keep this and I shall remember you." Wu bowed and answered, "You are welcome." Wu watched them until they disappeared. Later said, "The noble youth knew my name and yet I have never seen him before. Their clothes had no stitches. The white horse had spots of five colors. It also had heavy armor of solid metal instead of hair. The horse's hoofs and stranger's stranger's feet did not touch the ground. Ian jumped up and exclaimed, "Then they aren't human beings but spirits," who continued, "I watched them as they went westward. Rain clouds were gathering there, and when they were very far away, they all rose in the air and vanished into the clouds." Ian was shocked to hear this. When Uskin and mother heard this, she explained the horse is a dragon horse. When spirits appear before humans, they wear magic garments. That's why clothing of your visitors had no stitches. Spirits move in the air, so they flew higher and higher, going towards the rain clouds. The youth was the yellow dragon. He is known to raise storms as he had four flowers with him today. The storms will be a great one. May we all be safe. Who added that one of the strangers had turned the umbrella upside down before passing through the gate. "It's a good sign," she said. Then she lay down to sleep. Heavy clouds began gathering in the sky. Yin and Wu decided to sit up all night. The storm burst out in all its fury. The thunder rolled, lightning, lightning flamed, and the rain flooded the rivers which destroyed the lands. The night cottage was entirely surrounded by water. "We cannot escape now," cried Yin, who said, "I've just seen the dragon." As I looked skywards, he spread out his great wings above our home. He's protecting us now. "Alas, my son, you are dreaming," said Yin. "Listen, no raindrops are falling on our roof," War replied in. "Listen carefully," and said, "You speak the truth, my son. This is indeed marvelous, and all because you welcomed the dragon." The storm finally ended. The next day, the emperor heard that no rain fell on Yin's house during the storm. He sent for Yin and Wu. When they were brought before the emperor, Yin repeated the events of previous day. "Show me the piece of armor," the emperor ordered. When Wu had opened the box, the armor shone brightly. The impressed emperor announced, "Who shall remain here and become one of my courtiers, as the yellow dragon has given him power and wisdom." Thereafter, with his wisdom and powers gifted to him by the yellow storm dragon, who served the emperor for many years.